Sometimes the most powerful response is choosing not to respond at all. In those moments when you experience deep injustice or witnessed wrongdoing directed at you, your decision to remain silent wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a mark of strategy and inner strength. By refusing to react impulsively, you allowed a higher order to take over, trusting that the universe would handle your battles in ways you could never imagine. This is when the most remarkable comebacks unfold, surprising everyone who expected you to fight back in the usual ways. While they kept their eyes locked on you, waiting for your next move, they failed to realize that a greater power was observing them, orchestrating outcomes beyond their comprehension. Not every warrior fights with weapons or words. Some possess a rare form of strength, the kind that is revealed in silence. True warriors can wield silence as a shield, practicing a cosmic patience that unsettles their enemies and aligns with the laws of the universe. When you were struck, you didn't stoop to their level or respond with negativity. Instead, you chose to rise above, transforming the venom they threw at you into a source of healing. You found strength in prayer, in music that resonated with higher realms, and in affirmations that rewired your mind for power and resilience. The collective energy around you sensed this profound shift. People recognized the unique frequency of your spirit, how it refused to be tainted, how it held on to integrity, even when integrity seemed almost naive. This wasn't just luck or coincidence. It was a sign of divine selection. The harshest trials are always reserved for those whose souls have the capacity to endure the flames without being consumed, without losing themselves, or turning into the very darkness they've faced. Your journey is a testament to that unshakable light. Now you find yourself transformed by an inner fire, a knowledge that burns brightly within, downloaded from realms far beyond the ordinary. These revelations, which have come to you from beyond the veil, illuminate the true nature of everything that has happened. You've been chosen to carry these insights, not to share them carelessly or cast them before those unwilling to understand, but to keep them sacred and protected until the right moment arrives. This wisdom isn't meant for idle conversation. It's a divine transmission, entrusted to you specifically because your consciousness is strong enough to hold its weight. What you understand about this injustice goes beyond physical evidence or logical explanation. It is a deep, intuitive knowing that transcends proof. You've peered behind the curtain of reality, glimpsing the intricate workings of cause and effect that govern the universe with flawless precision. Your discretion now serves the highest purpose. The sacred must be shielded from those who would desecrate it, at least until the hour of revelation is upon us. Those who work to create chaos in your life never grasped this vital truth. Anything hidden in darkness will inevitably be brought into the light. Their fleeting sense of victory was always just an illusion, a cosmic distraction, while forces far greater than they could comprehend have been preparing for the ultimate unveiling. This new awareness you carry isn't rooted in paranoia, but comes from your heightened, awakened senses, abilities that let you perceive shifts and disturbances in the energy field that others cannot detect. The veil separating worlds has thinned for you, allowing you to see what was always present but previously invisible. Even as you're placed under scrutiny, you continue to radiate your true self, and this is what baffles your adversaries the most. Despite their relentless efforts to diminish your light or make you shrink back in fear, you only expand further. With every attempt to contain you, a new beginning bursts forth, refreshing your reality like a splash of clean water striking ancient stone, reshaping your path no matter how hard they try to confine you to outdated stories. Their jealousy is a testament to your power. Would they go to such lengths to monitor someone powerless? No, their obsessive watching is a sign of what you represent. Authentic, unshakable power that cannot be given or taken by any external authority. This is a power that flows directly from source, unobstructed by corruption, and your very existence challenges everything they think they control. Now you can witness the unraveling of those who plotted injustice against you. Their once carefully coordinated attacks fall apart, dissolving into frantic attempts at self-preservation. The deceivers are now confused by their own tangled web of lies. The players realize too late that they are part of a game with rules they never really understood. The digital fingerprints they carelessly left behind, on texts, emails, documents, now become a serious threat to them. Watch as they scramble to erase evidence, alter records, and create confusion in a space where they once built elaborate conspiracies. But the universal law of evidence is absolute. What has been set in motion can never be completely wiped away from the cosmic record. This confusion among your adversaries is not by chance. It's a divinely orchestrated chaos that will bring the truth into stark relief. As they try to cover their tracks, they only make their actions more obvious. When they reach out to former allies for help, they expose the entire network of those involved. Every attempt to rewrite history only clarifies the original narrative, making their sloppy revisions stand out even more. Their financial foundations begin to falter, the resources they used against you are drained, all in accordance with the natural law of energetic return. Everything they projected toward you now circles back on them with mathematical precision because the universe always balances its equations. Nothing is ever truly lost, only transformed and returned to its rightful source. Mark these words with your soul. A powerful revelation is approaching, and you will not need to act. Divine timing, mysterious, flawless, operating far beyond human planning or comfort, has been moving behind the scenes all along, shifting the pieces on the cosmic chessboard as you maintained your dignity and position. The very mechanisms once used against you are being recalibrated to expose those who misuse them. Their hidden corruption will soon be dragged into the open, revealed so fully that they will have no place left to hide. The thief who believed they could remain unseen will be forced to stand in the universal spotlight, while those who aligned themselves against you, including even the most unlikely, like strange neighbors, will be revealed for who they truly are. The casual betrayers and calculated adversaries will soon witness this coming revelation with a mix of shock and reluctant recognition. Some will cling to denial until it becomes impossible to ignore. Others will rush to distance themselves from situations they once eagerly fueled. There will even be those who, upon witnessing the pure and undeniable consequences of their actions, undergo a profound spiritual awakening. A transformation that only comes from facing truth without filters. Yet none of this requires your orchestration or intervention. While they plotted and schemed within their circles, a far greater intelligence was at work behind the scenes, orchestrating events in realms they cannot access. Universal law was moving quietly and meticulously toward inevitable revelation, working with precision while you simply stood firm in your truth, refusing to be shaken. Let me pause this transmission for a moment and speak directly to you. Are you truly one of the chosen? It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones, but to actually step up and live that calling is another level entirely. When I personally confronted the archons beyond our reality, they scoffed at the idea that true chosen ones would ever find each other in this lifetime, dismissing us as too rare to unite. But what they failed to understand, what their limited frequencies simply couldn't comprehend, was that every attack against you became an initiation. What looked like spiritual warfare was, in reality, a catalyst for your evolution. Every attempt to diminish your spirit was actually the pressure needed to transform the coal of your consciousness into diamond-level awareness. This upgrade in your spiritual DNA wasn't by accident. It was always the hidden purpose behind the pain. The fire that was meant to destroy you instead forged you into a vessel capable of holding higher frequencies of truth and wisdom. The lessons wrapped inside injustice were never punishments, but fast tracks to your soul's evolution, cleverly disguised as suffering. Through every challenge, your ancestors have stood as silent witnesses, their wisdom activated in your bloodline by the very moments that seemed most harsh and personal. What may have appeared to be random acts of cruelty were, in fact, precise acts of spiritual surgery, stripping away what no longer served you and refining exactly what your soul needed to ascend to its next phase. Soon you'll experience what mystics across the ages have called the Great Reversal, a miraculous turning point, where all that once seemed to work against you is suddenly revealed as having secretly supported your highest transformation all along. Blocked business ventures will open with ease, creative energy that once felt stifled will surge with new power, and lost connections will be replaced by alliances so perfectly aligned that you'll marvel at the synchronicity. Before this divine unfolding completes its arc, get ready for the predictable outbursts from those who sense their illusion of control fading as the truth comes to light. Their manipulations will lose power, their confusion will deepen, and their desperate grasp for authority will erupt as anger. But this is not a show of strength. It's merely the final gasp of a dying paradigm. The rage they direct toward your growth, your joy, and your persistence is nothing more than a sign that their exposure is near, and the era of your suppression is finally ending. Their rage is not truly directed at you, but rather at the cosmic order itself. An order that may be distorted for a time but can never be permanently corrupted. Watch their outbursts with the calm compassion that comes from understanding their true motivation. Beneath all their anger lies a profound terror, an existential dread of finally being confronted by the very consequences they set in motion through their own choices. The universe allows immense freedom of action, but never separates actions from their effects. Now this unbreakable law closes in on them like a net woven from their own decisions, holding them accountable in ways they never anticipated. As they experience a spiritual decline, weighed down by denial, deception, and desperate self-preservation, you rise in sharp contrast, your consciousness expanding to hold more light, truth, and genuine power with every test you overcome. This divergence between your path and theirs was never something you engineered. It's the inevitable result of their choices manifesting through cosmic law. Step back now with a higher perspective and notice the larger pattern emerging from what once seemed like pure chaos. Each attack against you was actually a perfectly placed step in your awakening. Every betrayal cut away connections that would have blocked your highest evolution, and every obstacle became the resistance that built the exact spiritual strength your soul needed next. The busybodies who tried to monitor your blessings never realized they were simply witnessing universal principles at work. The shadowy figures who acted from the sidelines didn't understand they were cast in supporting roles in your activation, not in your downfall. Those obsessed with tracking your every move failed to see they were simply audience members to a sacred initiation unfolding in the flesh. Divine orchestration operates on a scale that human manipulation can never hope to match, just as the vastness of the ocean cannot be compared to a single drop of water. Your adversaries may have convinced themselves that they were shaping your story, but in truth they were only minor characters in a much larger narrative, one scripted at higher levels of consciousness beyond their reach. Their narrow vision could never comprehend the multi-dimensional game being played, nor how their own predictable choices set the stage for your growth. The passing of seasons mirrors this unfolding revelation. Spring brings the pale-haired, blue-eyed figure in the mansion, entwined in the circle of manipulators who believed they were invisible. Autumn brings truths about water, vessels, and the roles played by people of both dark and light complexions. Winter holds the final reckoning, where private grief is exposed to public justice. These cycles of revelation don't require your interference. They progress according to the natural order of cosmic timing, which enforces itself with absolute precision. This truth is what has given strength to mystics and spiritual seekers through centuries of persecution. Human systems of justice may fail, corrupted and compromised by the very forces they're meant to regulate. But cosmic justice remains ever vigilant, carrying out its accounting without haste and without pause. Those involved in trafficking energies or goods through underhanded means are now facing this inevitable cosmic reckoning. Whether hacking technology or tampering with spiritual systems, their actions have triggered security measures far beyond their understanding. The small houses that hid their secrets will soon be flooded with light, and the empires they built on unstable ground will collapse under the approaching tide of truth. Some may fear the confines of human prisons, but what's coming is a confinement of far greater consequence. The prison of living with the outcomes of one's own choices. As the structures of deception crumble, they will finally be held within the consequences they created for themselves. Their actions, meant to hide the truth, have actually shaped the contours of justice, creating a response uniquely tailored to their own deeds. Through all the chaos they engineered, you were enveloped by a protective force, even if you couldn't always see it or name its source. Sometimes the protection came in forms that were easy to overlook, and sometimes in ways that couldn't be traced to any obvious intervention. Yet the energy around you formed a shield, deflecting harm that would have overwhelmed someone less divinely protected. This was no random stroke of luck. It was divine intelligence responding in perfect measure to every real threat. When the attacks against you grew stronger, the fortress guarding your spirit became even more impenetrable. When the attack shifted from open aggression to quiet manipulation, your intuition sharpened, allowing you to sense danger where your physical senses might have failed. This wasn't mere coincidence. It was a living, adaptive intelligence, adjusting its protection to match the changing nature of the challenge. Your adversaries may have believed you were isolated, but that's only because they lacked the spiritual awareness to perceive the invisible guardians that stood with you. Their blindness kept them from seeing what your growing sensitivity was already revealing. No chosen one is ever left to walk alone through the fires of initiation. The very cosmic forces that selected you for this journey also made sure you would have exactly the protection you needed to see it through. This doesn't mean you were spared every pain or disappointment. Protection never guarantees a life without suffering. What it does promise is that even in the midst of pain there is a deeper purpose, and that no injury could ever be fatal to your mission. This distinction is essential for truly understanding the reality of spiritual warfare and the mechanics of cosmic justice. As the momentum of revelation builds, prepare yourself for the exposure of those who wore the mask of loyalty while secretly serving their own hidden masters. The truth will reveal not just your enemies, but also the false friends who cloak their betrayal in the appearance of support. This exposure may sting at first, but understand that it's just another layer of protection, a clearing away of influences that would have eventually sabotaged your highest path. The fake good person masking deeper issues, the obsessive stalker hiding behind spiritual language, and the manipulative groups operating through subtle control rather than true power. All of these figures are about to face the uncompromising light of truth as this divine unveiling continues to unfold perfectly. Their greed, their addictions, and their compulsive need for control, all the shadows they tried to keep hidden, are not being exposed by your hand but by the natural intensification of light that accompanies your spiritual evolution. As your frequency rises, anything that can't meet you at that level must either transform or fall away. There is simply no room for anything in between. What once seemed like betrayal from a narrow perspective now reveals itself as a necessary process of purification and sorting, visible only from an expanded awareness. Would you truly want to move forward surrounded by people secretly working against your highest good? The universe cares too much for you to allow such contamination to remain concealed. As you step into greater levels of service and authentic power, this fire of purification reveals your true purpose more clearly, both to yourself and to anyone willing to see. Creativity that was once targeted and stifled now flows with fresh force. Business ventures that face sabotage now align seamlessly with opportunities that perfectly match your vibration. The gifts you once saw undermined now find their way to the very platforms and audiences who need them most. None of this is random luck or mere coincidence. It's the result of divine recognition, the universe responding to your unwavering strength with support and restoration. What was once stolen will return to you multiplied. What was blocked will move forward with new momentum, and what was hidden will shine with unmistakable clarity. Your journey forward requires a spiritual cleansing, not because you are corrupt, but because you've moved through environments tainted with corrupt energy, leaving a residue that must be cleared from your field. True spiritual practices aren't just rituals, but real forms of energetic hygiene, breaking attachments and clearing the way for your next vision, your next insight, your next divine directive. The current influence of the air signs brings you mental clarity and strengthens your communication, giving you the power needed for this next phase. Your words now carry a unique energy, acting as activation codes for others on similar journeys. When you speak from this purified awareness, you're not just sharing information, you're transmitting transformation, igniting awakening in those who are ready to receive it. What's unfolding now is bigger than personal vindication. Your individual justice is just one thread woven into a much larger cosmic tapestry. As what was done to you is exposed, it also shines a light on entire systems of manipulation that have operated unchecked for generations. Your story becomes a powerful illustration of universal principles in action, which explains the sense of magnitude you feel, the bigness that seems to go beyond your personal situation. Some with public influence, celebrity status, or institutional power may also find themselves caught in this same net of revelation. It isn't because they are connected to your particular story, but because the same cosmic force is cleaning up similar violations across many domains all at once. Those who once monitored your abundance are now witnessing the same principles unfold in their own lives, as the universe restores balance on every level. Now, the tables have truly turned as those who once scrutinized and judged you begin to face their own exposure. The once handsome, enigmatic figure who preferred to move in the shadows now finds himself illuminated by a light he cannot escape, his carefully constructed persona crumbling under the weight of truth. The manipulator, safely ensconced behind mansion walls, is confronted by the instability of the very foundations he believed would shield him forever. These parallel revelations don't unfold in isolation. They are different expressions of the same universal law working through countless forms, weaving a symphony of justice that echoes across every level of influence, from the smallest personal circles to the most powerful institutions. Each revelation, whether subtle or dramatic, is a note in a grander composition of balance, accountability, and cosmic correction. As these exposures accelerate and intensify, your own position becomes clearer than ever. You stand rooted in unwavering truth, no longer feeling the need to force your recognition or seek validation from others. The opinions and approval that once seemed so important now fade in significance as the universe surrounds you with irrefutable confirmation of your path. The gaslighting that previously left you questioning your reality dissolves in the blinding light of exposed deception. What once confused and isolated you now empowers you to see with the kind of clarity only gained through spiritual trial. You are called to continue your spiritual practices, not out of desperation or fear, but from a place of wisdom, alignment, and purpose. The prayers, music, and affirmations that helped you survive the darkest nights now become powerful instruments for your expansion, turning survival mechanisms into tools for manifestation. As the interference around your energetic field fades, these practices gain new potency. amplifying your ability to shape reality with intention and precision. Yet, as your light grows brighter, be mindful about the connections you invite into your circle. Not everyone drawn to your rising energy is aligned with your highest good. Some are attracted by your power and visibility rather than your true essence. Trust the intuition you have sharpened through hardship. It will alert you to discrepancies between outward appearances and true intent, helping you discern who is genuine and who is simply seeking proximity to your success. Now is the time to channel your focus with laser-sharp clarity into your authentic purpose. The distractions and obstacles that once pulled you off course have now served their purpose, training your discernment and strengthening your resolve. With each obstacle you overcame, your resilience was refined, and that resilience is now your greatest asset as you move forward into a phase of pure creation. The spiritual muscles you developed through adversity have equipped you to manifest with less resistance, enabling your visions to move from conception to reality with greater speed and fewer barriers. The very battles designed to break you have instead prepared you to thrive at an entirely new level. Remember, your victory in this journey was never about defeating others through force or outsmarting them with cunning strategies. The outcome was inevitable from the moment the first act of injustice was set in motion against you, because universal law governs reality at a level beyond human manipulation. Their efforts to harm you were always destined to collapse inward, exposing their own darkness. Every attempt to dim your light only drew attention to the shadows in their own methods, and the fact that they needed to band together against your solitary strength revealed not their power, but their fundamental insecurity. Authentic power, after all, stands alone with conviction, while insecurity seeks comfort in numbers. What is approaching now is not vengeance, but transcendence. You are evolving beyond the very paradigm that once made you a target. While those who sought your downfall remain trapped in the limited consciousness that justified their actions, you are stepping into an expansive awareness, one that recognizes every attack as a disguised initiation. Each hardship is preparation for greater heights. Your journey now becomes a testament to the transformative power of truth and the freedom that comes from living in alignment with universal law. They remain trapped, confined to the lower dimensional chessboard, still obsessed with their next calculated move, while you have learned to see the game from a vantage far above it. You now stand in the fullness of this realized truth. Every scheme designed to harm you became instead the exact catalyst for your greatest growth. What was meant to limit you became the launching pad for your expansion. This is the true art of cosmic alchemy, transforming darkness into light, opposition into opportunity, and persecution into undeniable power. In this process, spiritual mastery is not just an abstract concept, but a practical, lived experience. The universe delivers justice not through acts of vengeance or retribution, but through a flawless balance, returning every action to its source with uncanny mathematical precision. Every intention, whether rooted in malice or hope, manifests its own consequences, calibrated perfectly and needing no human hand to enforce it. Deceptions always begin to unravel from within, because dishonesty is inherently unstable, its collapse inevitable. Your purpose within this grand restoration was never to fight fire with fire, but to anchor yourself in unshakable truth, allowing universal law to do what it does best: restore order and harmony with meticulous attention to every detail. The silence you maintained, which others mistook for passivity or weakness, was in fact a profound strength. The spiritual wisdom to recognize that some battles are not meant to be fought directly, but to be transcended altogether by rising above their limited playing field. This is a higher path, where victory does not depend on engagement with the drama, but on elevating yourself beyond its reach, seeing with clear vision what is truly at stake. What is unfolding now moves forward with or without your conscious orchestration, because it is powered by forces and laws more fundamental than any individual's will or intervention. Divine timing orchestrates every revelation, ensuring it aligns perfectly not only with your own readiness, but with the readiness of the collective. What once appeared to be frustrating delay or stagnation now reveals itself as perfect calibration, events unfolding at the exact moment their impact will serve the highest good of all involved. This cosmic rebalancing is never about vengeance. It is always about transcendence and evolution. What was intended to break you has instead uncovered your extraordinary resilience, showing your deep connection to something infinitely greater than yourself. The trials that were supposed to end you have, in fact, been the refining fires that revealed your inner strength, your higher wisdom, and your direct alignment with a source of divine power. Now, as divine justice unfolds with unmistakable precision all around you, know that it demands nothing from you but to keep standing in your truth. Trust the process that has carried you through the flames and turned you into something more luminous and unbreakable. Continue to align yourself with the wisdom and clarity that has sustained you. This is your only requirement, as transformation continues to shape your destiny. Not because you forced it, but because you surrendered to a truth that is older and more powerful than any human scheme. That's all for today. Dear Father, I pray for the growth of my faith. Help me trust you even when physical evidence is lacking. Let me believe in your perpetual presence, knowing you will never harm me. I understand that your thoughts for me are thoughts of prosperity and not harm to give me a good future. Thank you, gracious and eternal Father, for always listening to my voice. I offer up this prayer to you in the name of Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus, for your love and provision. I am grateful for your presence in my life and the abundance you bring. If this video resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with those who need to hear this message. Leave a comment below about your journey and how you are preparing for your own triumphant return. If you'd like to support our work, please consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. This helps us continually improve our content to offer you the best. The link to Buy Me a Coffee is in the description. No gift is too small. Whether it's a penny, a prayer, or a share, your generosity helps spread God's word and brings hope to others. Don't stop here. Watch our next video for powerful revelations about the signs that reveal you are the chosen one. We've enjoyed following this spiritual journey with you. Thank you for staying with us until the end. Keep shining brightly and embrace your destiny with courage. See you next time. Blessings to all the beautiful souls from the Enlighten Wisdom.